All right, here we are. FUNKSHOP.
Chromeo, the Funk Lords, and you are watching the FUNKSHOP live and direct from our studio in Burbank called the Private Sector. Labor Day. Mm-hmm. We're working on Labor Day. We work on Labor Day just for you.
I thought Labor Day meant you have to work.
Yes, it's a day of labor.
It's for labor.
It's a day of labor for us.
Yeah.
Always has been. Right, I'm just watching to see if we're on.
Yeah, we'll be on in about 40 seconds.
Checking.
Today we have...
Make sure we're working. Oh, yeah, here we are. So today, we will be talking about two songs. We'll be picking apart two songs on this production tutorial. One is from 2018, from our last album called Head Over Heels, and one is from our quote-unquote classic album, Fancy Footwork. So it's the song Fancy Footwork versus Juice. They're two completely different production styles. You couldn't think of two more radically different,
complete opposite aesthetics and production and approach to
producing songs. And so that's why we wanted to share them with you. In this case, we're going to go with, because those songs were done, one of them was done on our old Pentium. Mm-hmm. Fancy Footwork was done on our old Pentium, and Juice was basically all done in Pro Tools. So we're going to be doing Pro Tools for both of those today. Mm-hmm. So without further ado, let's open up Juice. Mm-hmm. Do you want to do this now, P? Or you want to do the?
Let's open up Juice.
Here we are. Where are we? Hey, bring us back in. There we go. All right.
So this one was done on Pro Tools.
So, all right. Let us give you a little bit of background on how this song was done. When we did the Head Over Heels album, our goal was to make like a collaborative record and to work with as many different people as we could, whether it be producers, songwriters, features. As you know, this was like a feature-heavy album. That was like our goal, because we had done, 4 albums, just P and I, by ourselves in total isolation. And, we had just moved to LA, set up shop here at the Private Sector, and we were like, let's try working with other people and seeing what's out there. Luckily, we had a lot of fans and supporters in the producer, songwriter, whatever community, and a lot of people were down to work with us. One of them being an incredible producer called Jason Evigan. He really kind of exists in like the pop realm, which was interesting for us because we didn't know anything about that, but he wanted to make funk songs. So we got with him. We even did like some camps with him where like we would binge produce for like 3 days on end. And we did a bunch of sessions with him, and we ended up keeping a few songs. One Track Mind, Must Have Been was done with him as well.
Juice.
And this song Juice. And I think that this really shows the sort of hybrid production style that we had on our last album, where a little bit came from them, a little bit came from us, and then we then took everything that we had done collaboratively and rejigged it. Yeah, and we kind of rejigged it all with our production sauce and our production style, because we wanted to be like the last, to put our sheen and our vibe and our twist on all these on all these beats and all these tracks. So the first thing I want to show you guys is this is the mix session of Juice, right? This is what we send to the mix engineers. Relationships in a democracy. So you guys know the song. You've heard this song, hopefully. And you remember when we told you guys like all the songs on Quarantine Casanova have what, 10 tracks of music? Mm-hmm. Well, it's a little bit different on Juice. On Juice we have
music.
Just music. We've got 62 tracks of music.
No, that's talk box.
Oh, that's talk box. Okay. 51 tracks of music.
Which to us is...
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And then vocals.
Some people do more, but...
We have, if you count the talk box, we've got 100 tracks of vocals. So this is something different entirely. Wait, let me just say hello to everyone. Hello. Let's get funky. All right, so like we said, for Juice, there's like a lot going on, vocally, musically, and so it's going to be really fun for us to show you guys this because it's a totally different production approach than what we did before. So, first of all, there's some stuff in here that comes from Jason Evigan, the co-producer on this song, and there's some stuff that comes from us, and there's stuff that's a hybrid between the two of us. Why don't we start, P, with the chords of the song? Because that's something you came up with at the very, very, very beginning.
Yeah.
And so I remember we were in the studio, and Sean Douglas, who actually wrote the lyrics and the song and the melodies with us too. So it's P, myself, Sean Douglas, and Jason Evigan on the song. 4 people. Co-writers and co-producers and all that. And I remember me and Sean were like, we kind of want a song that goes at that kind of tempo. 105. And then we didn't even have that much gear that time, right? Because we were at a camp.
We were in a camp in somebody's bedroom.
So
and we had
the
a
Prophet
trusted
6.
Sequential, Dave Smith.
Prophet 6, you want to show?
Dave Smith, Prophet 6.
Can you tell us a couple of things about this Prophet 6? It's a little loud. What would you say about that synth? Because I know it's something. It's not a vintage synth. This one.
No, but it might as well be. Yeah, it's one of the newer synths that I really, really trust. It's it's fully analog, incredibly stable, and it has, like every synth company today is like, we kept the warmth of yesterday and we made it modern and flexible. Everybody says that, but it ends up sounding really cold, really not warm, and the extra stuff they added is always some sort of digital effect which actually ruins the whole thing. But this one, Dave Smith Prophet 6, to me is the one that sounds incredible. It has the warmth, it has the flexibility, it has onboard effects, and every single thing that you want to grab from a Prophet 5 or from an old synth, they put it in there. You can detune the oscillators if you wanted to get a bit more warm and a bit more funky. You can, and the cool thing is adding stereo. It's like having a Prophet 5 with stereo. That's incredible. Adding onboard effects, which sound incredible. It's a great synth.
Is it expensive?
It's not really expensive.
How much is it, if I can ask?
I think it's about like $2,100.
Right.
A bit less.
It's not cheap, but
well, it's not expensive when you
when you compare it to a lot of vintage stuff. But
and back then synths were way more expensive.
Right. So let's get back to how you came up with the chords. Is this patch a stock patch on the synth?
No, it's not.
You had that patch.
Well, yeah, because remember you sang me that sound.
Yeah, I was like wah 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 wah.
So basically.
You got juice. Relationships and honesty. Yeah, there we go.
So it starts a lot with the sounds with us.
Yeah. The sound will kind of determine the vibe and the atmosphere of the song.
And the chords also.
And the chords, yeah.
Because different sounds will, sound differently when they're voiced a certain way.
So,
if I did this on the Juno, it would sound like, poop.
What would it sound like? Wow.
It's not very...
I can imagine like a high energy...
Yeah.
I can imagine like a...
Yeah, it's very EDM. It's very EDM, yeah. Couple tempos up.
Yeah, horrible.
So this is how sounds change everything.
Changes the tone.
Yeah.
Really quick, because we have a lot to go through on this session today. Do you want to show us, is this the right thing? No, whoops. Wait, where's the button to put us in there? Oh, here. I clicked off, is that fine? Do you want to show us those chords really fast, Pete?
Sure, yeah.
On your plugin? I don't know where you put it. just to kind of see what kind of chords we're doing.
I'm sorry. To see the chords. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just
So
let's do it
basically-
really quick.
I think the secret with that, they're not very hard chords, but throughout the song, there's different All right. So as I was saying, everything in that song is a different. Yep.
Are we sure? Oh, here we are.
Is a different order of the same chords. For example, the pre will go. Basically, that's it. What else?
Wait, P, I think it's still frozen. Frozen, but...
Yo. Ils entendent tout, là.
No, they're saying nah, still frozen.
It's me. Ouais.
All right, great. Sorry about that. So, we are back. So, P, did you finish explaining the chords?
Yes. I think so, yes.
All right. May I drive for
But
a
just
second?
to reiterate, it's basically a different order, different sequence of the same chords all over again.
Well, right.
Plus
chords.
some harmonizations in certain parts.
Great. All right, so let's see how we produced out these chord sounds in the song. By the way, I just want to say something else. Look how we're organizing our sessions for mix. We color coordinate everything.
Not just for mix, for us too.
Yeah, for us too. So markers up top. Can you make it bigger, P, real quick? Yeah. Markers up top. Verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse 2, pre, blah, blah, blah. Color coordinating the drums. Wait, go to the left. Kick, blah, blah, blah. Drums are one color. Then live bass is one color. Moog bass is one color. And then you've got your pads underneath right here. Go down. On the left. Let me see the sounds. Pads here on the left. Keep going. More pads here. Change colors for sound effects. Beige is all sound effects. Guitar, other two colors. And then we get into the talk box. So 51 tracks of music and about 100 tracks of vocals if you count all the stacks and the effect buses.
And vocal, every person has their color.
Yeah, every vocalist on this song has their color because believe it or not, there are 3 vocalists on this song. All right, are we back to normal size?
Actually, there's more. There's gang vocals too.
There's gang vocals too.
So that makes it about 10.
Okay, so let's kind of just go to the main chords really quick. And can I take this out?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. All right, I want to start playing music. So, main chords. All right. Same spot here. Again, that's on the Prophet 6. Then P added on the Juno, you added one harmonization of the chords to make him a little bit deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And then, in the chorus, to beef things up, that Juno sound here.
That's the drum.
Somebody goes, give him the mouse. So, somebody was like, just give him the mouse. All right, so on the chorus, you've got a Juno to give it a little bit more bite.
Yeah, and
so,
it's harmonized. It's harmonizing the chords to make them not so basic and to differentiate between sections.
Right. Cool. Then the other, so those are your chord stacks. Mm-hmm. What do we do here? What's this? Oh yeah, you added a little bit of clavinet funk too, though. Yeah. So it goes like this. And then same here. Right. That's on another track. That's something we added. All right. All right. So that's
funky punch-ins.
Funky punch-ins to give it a little more character. So that's that's like your sort of chord elements. And then on top of that, we had those leads. See, this one's called Main Lead Evigan because that's the one we did when we worked with Jason Evigan on producing the song.
That, yeah.
Right? And I think that's also on the Prophet 6. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, we only had that.
Yeah, we only had that, yeah.
And then... Cool.
Yeah. I'm not sure why it's still called Evigan because I played that.
You played it over there, but it dates from when
their
we
session.
Did, from their session. Yeah. And then that's actually one thing that I think Jason Evigan added, this kind of DX7, what we call DX7 pocket.
Well, it's
Hear that?
Yeah. It's not an actual DX7. It's
a plugin.
No, it's their small remake.
Oh yeah, because we had that. All right. So then, what we ended up adding, well, we added some bass, right? You've got your, and we decided to add some Moog to really beef it up. So, right, that's the pre-chorus, and then the chorus. Woo! Very little plugins, just some EQ. Is there some distortion? Not really. I mean, it's just filters, really.
It's the filters are open and it's nice and dirty. That's what the Moog does.
Yep. And then more synths. And there's another lead that P added, was here. I want to play this. There we go. And if you add that little funky DX7 thing,
who needs drums?
Now, before we even get to the drums, because to me the drums aren't the most important part of this song, there is a very subtle thing that we added on this song. And I feel like, personally, I feel like it added a lot to this song, as we added live bass. And again, in this kind of collaborative spirit that we had on the last album, we were like, let's get the best player in the world, the best bass player on earth that we've always dreamed of playing with. Pino Palladino played on D'Angelo's Voodoo, so many legendary records. He's the god. He's arguably one of the best players out there, especially for session stuff. And so we were like, let's get him on Juice. The goal was that we felt like if the song just went like this, and I'm gonna add the drums really quick just to kind of like convey what I'm thinking. So we felt it was going to be a little bit stiff and it wasn't going to have the kind of live human feel that we wanted on our last album. So we were like, I want to use this part. We were like, let's get Pino Palladino to basically subtly play on this riff over these chords and add like this really subtle kind of live movement. So check this out. Okay, you can barely hear it, so I'm just gonna solo what he's doing, and then you're gonna get it. You can actually hear us through his bass pickups. And the way we EQ'd it, we actually cut out a lot of the low end, and we wanted the attack. We wanted the sound.
It wasn't
of the
about
fingers.
the low end because the Moog had low end.
The Moog has low end.
This was texture.
Let's put the Moog back in, so just people can really hear what the Moog is doing. Where is my little Moog here? Moog bass. Where'd the bass go? Up there?
It's right here.
Huh? Oh yeah. So you can barely hear him. but he's adding just a little bit of attack. I'll put him even louder. And now when we put the chords back in, this is like some real subtle shit, but to us it really changed a lot. So Pino added like this kind of je ne sais quoi of like live feel. How would you describe it, Pete? It's almost like a
texture.
little bit
It's texture.
Yeah.
It's groove and texture.
Yeah.
To take it out of too much synth. It was a bit too modern for my taste.
Yeah, yeah.
This took it back to early British 80s.
And we had him play with his fingers on the on the verse and with the pick on the choruses. So pick. Here you can really hear the attack. Moog back in. This guy's distorted like crazy. See how he's adding all these little ghost notes? And that to me, or to us, adds a whole lot of groove.
It's almost like a guitar.
Yeah, it is. It is. Let's go to the drums real quick, because they're fairly simple. So kick. Sorry, kick. A top kick, which adds a little bit of attack. A little finger shake, a finger snap. And then we added the claptrap. That's like a sort of a funk lord staple, if I can say. Some of those drums were Evigan, some of those were us. We really mixed it together. I think Evigan came up with the main sort of like the chops, and then we replaced the kick and we added the claptrap and stuff.
I think most of the top kick track was him, yeah.
And then we added the real kick. Woo! All right, without Pino, listen to the difference. I hate it. With Pino, look how funky it gets. I mean, it adds all the funk. And same with like the verse sections. Oh, sorry, let me get the chords back in. Here we go. Here he is. So he's adding all the boom. Sorry. There we go. Add that little riff. Remember last week how we talked about guitar chugs, those little funky guitar chugs? We always add those. Another thing we should add is that on a song like this, we didn't really want a continuous hi-hat because of the swing.
Yeah.
It would kind of be corny to have a hi-hat the whole time. So we had the live bass and the live guitar add that bounce and that swing effect, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it is in terms of the main ingredients of the song. And then, all right, so because this is a little bit, let's say, quote unquote, poppier or cleaner, you've got these little kind of shimmers. Actually, that's not really, or like bell texture. Little vocal chops that we normally wouldn't put, but That's almost sound design. I call that sound design for what that is, right?
Yeah. This part is typical of what we would do.
Yeah.
This whole transition here.
Yes. Well, actually, yes and no.
Without the swisher.
The swish is more on the Evigan type.
Yeah, and this is
that's
pure
us.
Chromeo.
Yeah. And then, so
these are all synths, yes. SH101.
Yeah. Oh, you mean all these kind of like ARP, ARP, SH101, Synclavier, yeah. Very few vintage synthesizers on this song, apart from the Moog.
Mm-hmm.
But again, to give it that kind of analog feel, we added Pinot.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, the main ingredients, you've got your drums, the drums, right? By the way, I just want to play you guys, just because like we're nerding out here, I just want to play you guys Pinot Palladino.
Dave loves Pinot, huh?
I fucking love him.
I think we should do a tutorial just on that.
I even want to mute the Moog. Wait, you don't like him?
Oh, I love him.
I mean, come on, listen to this guy's pocket. He's a maniac. Oops, sorry. I don't know. To me, the pocket is just crazy on this. Sorry. Woo! I love it. Anyways, so essentially, live bass, chords, all stacked and harmonized between the P6 and the Juno. Drums, gang of sound effects, and that's kind of the music.
Yeah.
Right, P? Am I missing anything aside from the guitars, which I want to get to?
Well.
Oh, and those little synth leads. Yeah.
See how sometimes we will do plugins.
Yeah.
And this one we just couldn't read. This one came from the actual session.
Songwriting camp.
The songwriting camp, and there was a synth line which is.
Oh.
Happening, but
okay, so basically it was this guy.
Yeah.
This synth line you did essentially with this plugin. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Juno 60 plugin from Tal.
We have a Juno 60, but somehow the plugin sounded better.
It sounded great.
What do you want to do?
We just kept it.
Remember when we talked about guitar tones last week? You've got your Les Paul here. But here, for the chords, the funky chords, I played the Les Paul, P played the chords. Check this out.
Too bad we don't have the...
With Pinot. I love this. How do you feel?
Yeah.
I love it.
Too bad we don't have the plug-in chain on that guitar, because I had a little trick that I did on this for the flanger to sound better.
What'd you do?
I added a really dirty sort of echo chamber, so the...
But the flanger on that guitar, though, that's not a plug-in, right?
No, it is.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh.
The whole chain is plug-in.
Word.
Yeah.
All right. That's the Strat. Remember how we told you guys it's either going to be a Strat or a Les Paul. We only have two guitars that we use when we record. P, are you cool to start looking at those million tracks of vocals?
Sure.
Do you guys pan your synths? that are in stereo, i.e. pads? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we use the tal chorus here and there sparingly because it kind of gets, I don't know, it's kind of a crutch. Sometimes it's a little bit like the OTT. They make everything sound good, but then it's like...
Yeah, our trick, if we want to do something that sounds like the tal chorus, but with more body and you know, more warmth, if something is stereo, we'll track it twice and pan it left-right. So, for example, Prophet 5 is mono, we'll track it on the left,
track it on the right.
Same exact part on the right, but the take is different, so the oscillators are reacting differently, and it gives you a really rich sound that will be better than the tal chorus.
Are you cool to go to the vocals real quick, Pete?
Yeah.
All right, so we've got the guitar. So, again, a mix of like old and new, vintage Moog, almost distorted, Prophet 6, new, flexible plugins. We've got plugins, live bass by Pino, live guitar both by me and you, production half by Jason Evigan, half by us, songwriting half by us, half by Sean Dev. This was really like a hybrid song.
Yeah.
But we really had to rein everything in and produce it ourselves for it to keep the funk that we wanted.
Yeah.
Now, vocals. Here's why there's 100 tracks of vocals. I'm including all the buses, but still. So you got my vocal. Relationships ain't a democracy. I'm good if you just stay on top of me. All right, you got.
Those are all yours.
All my vocals.
All of this here.
And then we've got my stacks in the chorus. Yeah. That's why I keep pressing you. All my leads are here. Okay. Main squeeze, so I better squeeze it right. And then you've got all my harmonies here, which are there's a lot. There's a lot going on in the harmonies. So. Juice. I mean, you know. Pressing ya. You got the juice. Everything here is like double, triple, layer, stack, ultra compressed.
Yeah, there's probably only actually 3 harmony notes, but there's stacks of 4 of each.
And then we added 2 more vocalists on top. You can't really tell, but we just wanted, again, the last album was all about having the biggest sound possible, the shiniest sound possible for Chromeo. So we added Tawatha, who sings on Over Your Shoulders. She sings on Frequent Flyer. She's kind of been our secret weapon, and she is from the group M2Me.
Yes.
The classic 80s group M2Me. We love her. She's basically like our spiritual mom. We love you, Tawatha, in case you don't know this, but you do know this. So Tawatha sang on this song as well. That's her. And she just sounds like a vintage record. That's why I keep pressing you. She's in there. Pressing you, you got the juice. Oh, I mean, it sounds like Shaka, or like Renee and Angela. I mean, it sounds like her.
Sounds like Tawatha.
Yeah.
Pressing you, you got the juice. When I act this way.
Check this out, hold on. So that's me in the verse. Act this way.
When I act this way.
It's cuffing season in the month of May. They let you in, but I just stay in line. Consequence of being.
That's probably what the sound would have sounded like had we not produced it with anybody else.
If we had done it ourselves.
The version you just played right now?
Yeah.
That would have been probably what it would have sounded like.
This way. When I act this way.
It's cuffing season. And we even let Tawatha do some little ad-libs in there.
Pressing you. I keep pressing you.
I mean, listen to this woman. She's incredible.
Pressing you. I keep pressing you.
She's on all our records. She's on Over Your Shoulder. She's on Something Good. She's on Room Service. We put her on everything. We love her so much.
And she was personally my favorite vocalist from
That
back
era,
then.
yeah.
The M2, those M2
So
records.
Juicy Fruit is her.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know.
Pressing ya, pressing ya, pressing ya, pressing ya, you got the juice.
Here we go.
Dramatic.
Baby, that's why I keep pressing ya, pressing ya, pressing ya, pressing ya.
And there you go. And then you add some gang vocals in there. 1, 2, 3, all these gangs.
Juice. Baby, that's why I keep pressing ya, pressing ya, pressing ya, pressing ya.
This whole gang vocal thing was something that we probably would have never done
Yeah.
had we not, delved into the pop world. But
I don't even know if it's delved into the pop world. We just wanted some of their tricks.
yeah, of course.
We just wanted
but that's one of the tricks.
Yeah, that's one of the tricks. I don't even like. We hate gang vocals,
We
but
hate
we were
gang
just.
vocals.
But we were like, yo, this will make the song sound big. And for real, if you compare Juice to any other song in our catalog, it sounds bigger.
Yeah.
There's more low end, more top end. It's wider. It's cleaner. Not to say that we love that more than Cabin Fever. It's just that's what we set out to do with that record. So we're like, yo, let's go. It's like a Corvette or like a really powerful car. Can we go overtime, by the way? Can you ask? Okay. All right. Lastly, we would be remiss to talk about the whole vocal structure of this song. Oh my God. Wait, I have to play Tuatha's ad-libs at the end. It's so hot. Check this out.
Pressing ya, pressing ya, I keep pressing ya, pressing ya, you got the juice. You got the juice, baby. Baby, that's why
That's why I'm saying, like, it could be clean, but we still have the funk in there. We have Pino Palladino. We have all that stuff to make it the way we wanted to make it. And we would be remiss to not have some talkbox in there as well. P killing it in there.
And that's playing everything.
pressing ya, juice.
Woo!
Pressing ya, pressing ya, pressing ya, pressing ya.
Sweet version.
Pressing ya, pressing ya, pressing ya, pressing ya. You got the juice. Yeah, yeah. That's why I keep pressing ya, pressing ya. I keep pressing ya, pressing ya. You got the juice. You got the juice, baby. Baby. That's why I keep pressing ya, pressing ya. I keep pressing ya, pressing ya.
Woo! I better squeeze it, baby. Oh yeah, by the way, that's Sean. I'm not even singing that part. Manful, got it right. A real collaborative thing, right? That was the vibe on the last album. It was to make like this kind of like mishmash of like really polished elements, but then bring in Tuatha from M2Me, Pino Palladino, a pop producer, a pop songwriter, analog synths, new synths, plug-in. I mean, that's really what this song is. And I will say that one thing I'm super proud of on this song is like the groove of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's hard to do like a balance. It's hard to do a song
It
with
also
swing.
it could have gone wrong very fast, and I think we drew the line, the
Yeah.
very fine line between corny polka square.
Or EDM. And we just had that swing. I mean, not to toot our own horn, there's a million things that we would have done different. Every time we open one of those sessions, we're like, oh, I would have done this, I would have done that. So we're not being like, oh, we did this so well. But it's fun to share this with you guys because it really shows you all the stuff that went in our heads as we tried to find this hybrid between all those worlds. And that's what Head Over Heels was about, ultimately. It was to have a funk record with, Drum and Pino Palladino and other producers, but then us and our gear and old gear and new gear. That was the whole vibe for Head Over Heels.
A medley.
Yeah, kind of a mishmash. Let's now go back, way back in time. 2007, 2006. We are in P's mom's basement in Montreal.
Back in time.
And we will open Fancy Footwork. So many subtle things that I never noticed when hearing the songs. Damn, that would have been a sick... See what I'm saying? That would have been a sick breakdown. It's like, now I wish we had done this breakdown.
So many parts of that song would have been sick breakdowns.
Yeah. We should. You know what we should really? I mean, there's like dub versions, right? Like we
should
could
do a
have
bunch of
done
dub
dub
versions.
versions of everything.
Yeah, there's so many elements in there.
Yeah. One day, you know what? We should just give you guys the parts too. We'll give you guys once we're done with this season of our, the Funk Shop. We'll just give you guys a bunch of parts too to play with and to kind of like delve into all the stuff we did and so on and so forth.
All right.
We are at Fancy Footwork. So, to be clear, this is not. Can we go over, P? Mm-hmm. Are they cool with it? Cool. We'll go over like 10 minutes. So, this brings back so many memories.
Yeah.
You were in Montreal. I was living in New York. We were getting together on the weekends. I
had just gotten my Prophet 5. That was Prophet 5 and Juno 106. So those were the two first upgrades after the first album.
Yeah.
So we now
It's
had
so
three
crazy.
synths.
This is 2006 when we started this. And I was living in New York. P was still in Montreal. And you were starting demos, sending them to me. Then we were getting together in Montreal. I was writing the demos.
Driving up to New York
You were
every
driving
weekend.
down to New York every weekend. It was just a crazy time. Like, it just feels like 100 years ago. But those songs are still songs that we can't do a show without playing Fancy Footwork. We open with that song. So, first of all, I want to play you guys the demo of Fancy Footwork that P sent me the first time. And if I'm not mistaken, P, you were like, yo, I did a song. It's like our version of House of Jealous Lovers by The Rapture. You said that. You said that.
I did say that.
Yep. And he sent me this song, and it was so raw. And he's singing, wait. Let me set it up. Let me set it up.
No, but you're losing the chord. Gabler.
Yeah, and you were singing on it. You had a verse melody that we didn't end up keeping.
No.
But the drums were there, and your drums were so dry. And I just listen to this. Listen to this. Wait. Oh boy. Okay, so
There's
this
some
gives,
ad libs in there.
yeah. This gives you guys a good example of how P and I work together on certain tracks, where P will start something like this, like what you just heard, and I might come in and edit it.
Yeah, I think
So-
my something was out of tune in there.
Doesn't matter though. It was hot.
Yeah.
So I remember exactly. This is what we kept. I mean, we kept everything from your demo.
The MPC
drums.
MPC drums.
Look how dry this is. Hot though. Also, what's the tempo on this? Where are we at? Where's the tempo?
It's 130.
130. Like, whoa, yeah. That's what you had. And then you had the main lead. That's a Juno, right? You had just gotten the Juno.
Yeah.
And then you had these pads that came in during the chorus. Where are they? Where are these pads?
Right there.
Oh, chorus
chords.
chords, sorry. So raw, and I want to talk about the rawness versus the final mix of that song. So that's all we had. Wait, are people talking about this? Oh my gosh, yes, blah 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 blah. Okay, so by then I'm living in New York, and I was studying Latin in this really intensive Latin program where basically you do 4 years of Latin in 10 weeks.
In one summer.
Yeah, in one summer. I had school on Saturday. It was like 19 hours a day. It was crazy. P was like, you know what? I'm going to come down. We're going to work together. And he slept in a rehearsal space that we rented in Williamsburg before Williamsburg was bougie. And
South 5th.
Yep. and I remember we worked on the production together. One thing that I remember hearing and adding over this song that I was like, this is so hot. I knew this was going to be hot. It was raw. I was like, Pete, we need a sub bass that goes boom, 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 doo, 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 boom. It's almost Motown, isn't it? It's like a Motown thing. So we added it with the Nord. In the verses. Check it out.
Yeah. Well, it's stay on the same note.
Talk to me about the Nord, because we actually just brought it back out. What is that? The Nord lead?
No, Nord's modular G1. That's back then. That was a synth. That was by Clavia. I don't know why they took it out of production. It was a great.
It doesn't
synth.
exist anymore?
No.
Oh man.
No, it's been out of production for a long time.
We just literally brought it back because we're going to start using it again.
It's literally, you can build a modular synth. You just plug your computer via USB. It's a really small synth.
Well, you have it right here, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we chromed this one out, but and basically you can build your modular patches.
No, they can't really see it, right?
No.
Okay, sorry. My bad, P.
It's there.
Yeah, that synth got us. That synth is the bass on Needy Girl, and we used it on everything that we wanted to sound. Oops, sorry. On everything that we wanted to have like a modern sound, right? By the way, how many tracks of music do we have here? We have, sound effects notwithstanding, we got 24 tracks of music.
Yeah.
That's it. And this is splitting it up.
And that's a lot of little, wind and little toms. And
so I remember adding that, and then I added tom fills and claps. By the way, claps, MPC, we did everything on an MPC back then.
including musical sounds like the note.
Yeah, like look, note MPC, we actually put that through the MPC to get it punchy.
That's SH101 actually.
Yeah.
That we sampled into the MPC.
Yeah. It makes me so happy to hear this. Then you had the chords. We layered them with Wurlitzer. Where's the volume? There we go. I don't even know where we got the Wurlitzer from.
A lot of stuff back then was borrowed and maybe semi.
See how this is like, everything is going to be like a little earworm. Even the triangle. And like everything had its purpose. Whereas on Juice, we kind of built this crazy sonic behemoth. Here it was like minimal, because we didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
We didn't have money, we didn't have anything. We had 4 synths.
Yeah.
But we knew that everything had to have a purpose. And then, a little bit of a live twist, we added the rototoms for the chorus. Show you're that type of... Verse, we've got this is crazy. One track.
No
That's
doubles,
it.
nothing.
One take.
Bright lights, TV screen, feels like looking in a magazine.
No, by the way, no EQ, no processing. We didn't even know what that was.
Bright lights, TV screen, feels like looking in a magazine.
Did you have a cold that day?
I think I had a cold my whole life.
But if you let us eat up and say footwork, sure that you're not that shy. Let us eat up.
And then we brought in our friend Ozzy from Montreal, who then lived in New York, and she had like this really sexy voice. In fact, we used her on MPC. You could hear the noise. It's crazy, but yet like it's got everything you need. 38 tracks. Of music and vocal.
All right.
We're back?
And we're back.
Okay, cool. Well, let's
Carry on.
all right, let's kind of
Intro, sound effects.
yeah, we were on this funny sound effect from Josh from Flostradamus
APB.
where
What does that mean?
all points bulletin.
What does that mean?
All right, we got an APB on two young boys causing a disruption right now. One of them is tall and skinny, the other one is short and stocky. Probably a Chicano gang member.
That's P, probably a Chicano. Wait.
Probably a Chicano gang member. They're dancing in the street. I repeat, dancing in the street. I'm gonna need some backup right away.
And then they were supposed to start right away like this.
I'm gonna need some backup right away.
There you go. What was he saying at the end? Oh, we were gonna have a car at the end and everything.
Yeah, and this part too.
All right, boys, get in the car.
Oh, because the concept was he's gonna arrest us because we're
Yeah.
dancing in the street, fancy for what? I think that it's Zadar who might have been like, you don't need all that.
Yeah, and then there's also like a sort of a beat intro in the beginning.
Yeah, big time. Wait, what's FM7? Oh, FM7 was the plugin that you use on Bonafide Loving, and it was the DX7
It
plugin,
was the first DX7 plugin.
which I think still sounds incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
But listen to how dope this Nord sounds. That's crazy. Actually, you know what? I think it's wrong. I think that's the Nord. And I think that's the FM7. No?
No,
No?
no.
Sure?
Yeah. Yeah.
Young boy is causing a disruption right now.
Crazy. So, not much to it on here, yet a lot of emotions when we play this back. Oh, one last thing that we should play is the vocoder, right? Which we
That
still
was the
have.
Nord.
Oh, yes, you're right.
That was the Nord.
You're right.
The Nord vocoder.
The Nord. So a lot about this Nord.
Yeah.
So can people find the Nord on vintage now or
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
Is it cheap? I know I keep asking, but I'm thinking democratically for people who get started or don't have crazy budgets.
It's reasonably. It's still kind of expensive. It's a really good engine.
I'm really happy you
People
brought it back.
keep them.
Yeah.
Nobody sells them. They keep them.
But you have the Nord Electro, which is still
That's still around. There's Nord Electro. There's a bunch of stuff. But the Nord
We
Modular.
should get with Nord and reissue this one.
There's a Nord Modular, which allows you to build your own modular patches on the
Right.
computer screen connected to the synth.
Yeah. Anyways, before we finish, I just,
Also, the chords.
the chords were hot. The
Fancy
chords
footwork chords are.
hot.
It's pretty complex.
What are you doing? Do it on the Juno real quick. Oh wait, you have to unmute it.
So basically, it's.
Well, because the whole song, what is it? It's an F.
It's F, yeah.
The whole song keeps that F note the whole time, right? So you just have to have that dark F note, and then the chords kind of have to work on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to add one little thing before we dip. This song sounds super raw, and the magic of a lot of the magic of this song was added, we have to say, by the late great mix engineer Philippe Zadar, who's part of the group Cassius. This was the second song he ever mixed for us. The first one was Needy Girl. The second was this one. And he really took the Fancy Footwork album and the business casual albums to the next level. We fed him these very raw sessions with no effects whatsoever, purposely, because we wanted him to add all his analog stuff and his magic, and he really brought those songs to life and created, I think, the blueprint for a Chromeo sound that we now use ourselves, right? So on the one hand, you have Juice, where when I play Juice here off of Pro Tools, it sounds like the finished song.
Yeah.
Like the mix engineer didn't do a ton to it.
This was a very classic way of doing things before we had any sort of plugins on any computer.
We didn't even like it.
There's
there's
very little means to have a reverb on Cakewalk 6.1. So we just had raw, just like an old school. This is basically a tape.
Yeah, like an old school Prince demo, and then he took it to mix. But rest in peace, Philip Zadar. If you guys dig online, I think we made a playlist of when he passed away. We made a playlist for the Fader of like some of our favorite Philip Zadar mixes. Some of our favorite Philip Zadar mixes. He mixed Phoenix, Cassius, Beastie Boys, Cat Power. Just like I think he's the greatest mix engineer that's ever lived. So he did wonders to this song. Even though I feel like we had all the catchy elements in there, but he just brought it to a whole other dimension.
He really, that was his craft, mixing.
Yeah.
Good old mixing engineer who adds to the record.
Not using one single plugin, only outboard analog gear. And it was a total blessing in our careers to work with him. So that is it for us. We will see you guys next week with 2 more songs, Night by Night and Jealous. Again,